Well, hello there. In my last episode, I mentioned that we should not wait to follow our dreams until tomorrow. Now is the best time. Tomorrow, might not get done, so that sucks. I also mentioned that it might take just a little bit of sacrifice and adding some discipline to our lives to be able to follow those dreams. And it doesn't take very much to get started. Just a little tiny effort each day. That progress is going to add up and compound in a much more fulfilling way than that interest that's being put on your credit card. And I don't want to be someone who doesn't practice what they preach. So I just picked a random day this week and I allowed a documentary film crew to follow me so that you can see how I handled following my dreams while being busy. I know we've all got different schedules, different lives, different responsibilities, but if I think I can do this, so can you. As a matter of fact, I have a lot of faith in you. By the way, I'm Kevin. I'm in the midst of a 100-day push to make my life better. And now here's one of my random busy days, and I still follow my dreams. 6 a.m., it's time to get moving. I had some trouble getting to sleep last night because I had so many ideas and the wheels kept turning. I was a little bit worried about how that would affect me getting up this morning, but I actually ended up waking up at 5:57 a.m. this morning before my alarm went off. I think it's just my brain and my body telling me it's time to get back to working on the mission. I'm gonna give the start of my day 4 out of 5 stars. And on a side note, those have been the only Christmas lights I've seen. It's kind of weird. I haven't really felt really Christmassy this year. There's not a lot of Christmas spirit going on around here. All right, I'm back home. It's almost 7 a.m. It looks like I walked only about 31 minutes, which means I must have been really dragging my feet to get out today. It didn't feel like it. Maybe I'm experiencing some lost time. Whatever the case may be, I've got 2 hours till my workday starts. And now it's time to take a shower, and I'll spare you the visuals. All right, I got my shower, I got ready, I ate, I cleaned up after my food, and all of that took about half an hour. Now it's time to make my bed, tidy up my room just a little bit before the workday, and I did my future self a little bit of a disservice because usually in the evening I like to do another quick tidy up, clean up my workspace, that kind of thing, and so that in the morning things don't take so long. But I didn't do it. All right, the room's all tidied up, everything's clean. Spent a little bit extra time than maybe I normally would. Took me about 34 minutes. That's because I started getting into dusting and sweeping and all that kind of stuff. Usually it just takes about 5 to 10 minutes. I also started one of 2 loads of laundry, which is something that I'm gonna do today, is try to fit in some chores. Things that need to be done, but my goal in documenting today is to show that we can still get to our dreams and our goals with busy lives. And now for the next part of the morning routine. I like to read a little bit of nonfiction to learn, get my brain going a little bit. Feels like it's already going because I've been moving around a lot, but I'm gonna read at least 10 minutes. Today, I'm gonna continue to read The Psychology of Money by Morgan Housel. This is actually the second time I'm reading this book. When there's books like this that I think are good and I'm getting something out of, I'll read them again and I'll read them with a highlighter, marking down the passages that I think are most valuable to me. So it helps stick in my memory and I can refer back to it if I need. So the reason why I'm reading a book like this is because I don't think that I got enough financial education growing up. Even in my senior year in art school, we had to take this class called Portfolio and Business. And the knowledge that I retained was how to put together a portfolio. And then there was no talk about growing financially. There was talk about growing as an artist and growing in popularity so you get more clients. But the financial education was super lacking. So that's why I'm reading books like this. This is a good one, so I'll put a link down in the description below. It'll be an Amazon affiliate link. Won't cost you anything extra and it helps me out. All right, I'm gonna get to it. All right, so I'm finished reading today, and that was about 20 minutes. I want to read you something that stood out to me, and it applies to following your dreams. In 1889, the Detroit Free Press wrote an article about man flying, and they mentioned that flying like a bird appeared to be impossible. 6 months later, the Wright brothers dropped out of high school and began to tinker on inventions in their shed in the backyard. Their middle finger to the Detroit Free Press paid off, and by 1905, we had airplanes. All right, I need to go downstairs and change out the laundry, and this has added 3 minutes. And now to finish up the 3 hours that I allot for my morning routine, I have 33 minutes to work on my dreams and my goals. All Alright, as some of you might know, working on animated films is part of following my dreams, and what I did was I finished a workflow chart up here. I did it as if I was running an entire animation studio, but I like seeing the workflow of an entire production up here because I think it's going to help me mentally. I like checking things off too because it feels like more progress when I do that. And that concludes the morning. It's time to get to work. Luckily, I picked up a little illustration gig. I'm gonna at least need to do a full 8 hours on this today. I'm probably gonna cut something from my evening routine because time making this video and doing laundry, but we'll see. And now a time warp to the evening. And just like that, it's 8 p.m. and I'm feeling kind of spent because of a scene that I had to do that had a ton of perspective and it made my eyes go crazy. But anyway, if I calculated things correctly, it was about a 10-hour workday. And then around the middle of it, I spent about 30 minutes folding laundry and about 20 minutes having lunch. So we'll round that to an hour. And I also calculated that so far I've done about an hour's worth of video. I feel like that still means I lost some time somewhere. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I'm 14 hours into my day and now I'm out for a walk. Dinner, plus cleaning up and brushing my teeth took just a little over half an hour. All right, I'm headed back home and it is 9 o'clock. About 9:15 now as I've just gotten home. In general these days, I try to be in bed by about 10 p.m. So that means I only have about 45 minutes left to get other things done and I still need to calm down. I'm gonna balance my money book though because what's measured grows, they say, and I really need this to grow. That only took 2 minutes, and unfortunately, I had nothing to add to it. But I'm gonna give myself 30 minutes. Looks like I lied to you because I actually ended up working for 31 minutes on my dreams and my goals, specifically my animated film. And that's something I don't know how much to share because I don't want to give anything away. So I'm gonna need to figure that out as I go through the process. I've got to figure out how much to tease so people will be interested in watching it when I'm finished. Anyway, I doodled for a few minutes and then I went up into the attic to get some reference material that I want to keep on hand during this process. And I'll show you what I got. How to Think When You Draw with Lorenzo. Next, I've got 4 books here. They're all by Jack Ham. I've got Cartooning the Head and Figure, How to Draw Animals, Drawing Scenery, Drawing the Head and Figure. These are all also invaluable resources for cartooning. And next, we've got the Batman Animated Series art book. There's a bunch of character designs in here that's just fantastic. The way that the characters are simplified in this show and in these drawings that are in this book are so simple that they're elegant. And so I'll be looking at this a lot, kind of studying it for some influence. And next we've got the Hanna-Barbera Treasury. This is more of a Hanna-Barbera fan book, but also an invaluable resource. And as a huge fan of Hanna-Barbera from primarily the 50s and 60s, there's so much stuff in here that I'm going to use for influence and style, because what I'm working on now, I do want it to have that feeling of something that came out in that time period. So this book has all these like flaps and envelopes that have different things that have kind of come out as premiums and things over the years. You've got an envelope with a mock-up of some cell animation. There's a bunch of that kind of stuff in here. A lot of character designs too. You got examples of storyboards you can pull out here. There's a mask of Magilla Gorilla. Well, there's a little comic book. I'll pull these out so I can show you one of the highlights for me. Throughout this book, there are these little mock-ups. Look, it's even got animation pegs on the bottom of these character design sheets that were done by Alex Toth. That dude was an absolute master of simplicity. I mean, his characters with so few lines were so bold and iconic. I think these are all from Birdman here because it's a Birdman section, but there's a bunch of others like Space Ghost. Alex Toth did most of the adventure stuff from Hanna-Barbera, the Herculoids, Galaxy Trio. But yeah, there's lots of these mock-ups of his character designs and his character design sheets. So we got Birdman, there's more Birdman. I mean, these characters are absolutely fantastic and super animatable. Is that a word? But yeah, I'll be looking at a lot of these while I'm working on my character designs too. I'll also leave links to those books down in the description below with Amazon affiliate links. I'm not 100% sure that Hanna-Barbera book is in print, but maybe there's a used copy that is in a decent condition. All right, now after doing this video clip, my watch is showing that it's 9:57. So 3 minutes till bedtime. And at this point, I am very tired, but there's one more thing to do. This is the time for me to really slow down, start to get a little cozy. I've changed into some sweats, and this is when I pray. I pray that my roommate turns his damn TV down. And then I like to read some fiction, but I'm reading this. Barbarian Days, A Surfing Life by William Finnegan. This is a surfer's memoir, and it's written like a story, and I just didn't want to wait to read it till it got to be in that non-fiction slot. So maybe I'll change my late night habits to it just has to be a good story. This is becoming one of my favorite books, and I don't think you need to be a surfer to enjoy it. It definitely adds to it for me, but just the ups and downs and the coming of age aspect to it, I think is enough to hook anybody. And once again, I will put a link to this book down in the description below. I didn't mean for this episode to have so many book recommendations when I started today off. I'm gonna read this until I feel like I just can't stay awake anymore. Good night. There you go. Some days you have to be a little more flexible with your schedule, some days you don't. I've got some non-negotiables in mind because I'm trying to fix a lot of stuff in my life. You might not have to, so you might have more time than I do. But in any case, it only takes just a little bit. Baby steps. On that day, I got just a little bit over an hour's worth of work following my dreams. And in the course of this entire week, that added up to just a little bit over a typical work day. I didn't record how much I got done last week, but I think it was around the same. And I'm feeling much more excited now because the months previous to that, I put my dreams on the shelf and got a big goose egg in progress. It really doesn't matter how much time you have to work on your dreams. What matters is that you do it. And all of that accumulates. And at this point, I'm looking forward to the release of my first animated film. That's a ways down the road, but at least I'm back on the path. So again, I'm going to encourage you to start taking those little steps. And if you don't mind, maybe type the word steps down in the comments below so that I can give the algorithm a piece of coal in its stocking this Christmas. But for the rest of you, I've got this message.
Merry blooming Christmas!
Thanks for watching. I've got an algorithm to fight, so I'd be much obliged if you'd hit that like button, and I'd love to hear from you in the comments. And if you feel so inclined to help me out with what I'm doing, there's a Patreon link over there in the bottom right-hand corner. In any case, thanks again, and have a good one.